Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg, and tonight we'll be doing one more class on Pisces, ascendant, and Jupiter in the different signs. Tonight we'll be doing Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter in Capricorn is actually it's the place where Jupiter is in fall. It's very weak in Jupiter in Capricorn because the nature of Capricorn is very different than the nature of Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and Capricorn is a sign of contraction. So the planet can't fulfill itself. It's weak because it can't expand like it normally wants to do. It's held back from its expansion. And on the other hand, the Capricorn is hurt because its nature is to contract, and Jupiter is always trying to push it open. So it's a difficult combination. In other words, the Jupiter is basically being held back, is not able to expand to the fullest like it would like to. And then, afterwards, besides that, you would have to look Jupiter in a Pisces rising chart. Jupiter will be in the 11th house. So the Piscean nature, the Piscean person who wants to come out of his shell, wants to come out and be part of the world, wants to overcome his suffering, he'll do it through 11th house affairs, through his friends, his associations, and in particular groups and organizations. We've seen a number of charts over time where we see the 11th house strong. The person is very connected with groups and organizations. And we'll see that again tonight in the example chart that we're going to be doing. But in any case, planet in the 11th house is going to be very connected with groups and organizations, and it's going to be connected with, it's a money house because it's the second to the midheaven. It's the money a person makes in their career. And it's also connected with, it's very similar to the 5th house because it's opposite the 5th house, so it gets a lot of the 5th house energy, children and things like that. So you always have to understand the planets that are opposing each other, the houses that are opposing each other, they conflict. In other words, the friends are the 11th and the children are the 5th. So the children, they suffer when the friendships suffer when the person has children, right? He doesn't have time to. They don't have parents don't have time to be with their friends anymore. And if they're spending too much time with their friends, then the children are going to suffer. So but they do have the energy of the 5th house because it's the 11th house is the 5th house from the 7th, so it's the partner's children. But in any case, so a person who has a strong 11th house, it's sometimes they can pull them away from having children. We see that in America today, this idea that again, the importance of friendship over the importance of having children, right? The importance of career over the home, and the importance of the friendship over children. It's something we've seen in the 20th century. But in any case, so it's an okay combination, the Pisces rising with the Jupiter in the Capricorn, even though the Capricorn is weak because it can't expand like it would be. But again, it depends on the aspects too to the Jupiter and who the dispositor of Jupiter is, where the dispositor Saturn is in the chart. Right? If it was Saturn was conjunct also with Jupiter and Jupiter was approaching Saturn, then it would be tremendously squeezed in, that Jupiter. But if Jupiter is has a trine, say, to Saturn, or and Saturn is in a Jupiterian sign, then it'll be different. It won't be so harmful to a degree. I want to do a chart tonight, actually, of a famous actress. I really don't know anything about her. I never heard of her until I happened to see her horoscope here, looking through a horoscope for Jupiter with for Pisces ascendant with Jupiter in Capricorn, I found her, and I looked up a little about her. What attracted me to her chart is that she's like half Jewish, which is really strange. She's got a really weird name. Her name is Gwyneth Paltroy. And so I happened to look her up, and it says like her father was Jewish. Not only that, her father was Jewish. He's a director, a Hollywood director. And not only that, but he comes from a long line of rabbis. And her mother is a Quaker, which is I don't know exactly what they are, Quaker or Quaker. It's some kind of weird religion out there in Pennsylvania. I don't know too much about them. But so that sort of I sort of got attracted to the chart. They're very difficult when people marry out of their religion, especially the Jewish people when they marry out. It's very difficult on the children. The children have a very, very hard time in life. I've tried to explain it a little bit according to the Kabbalah, but I don't want to get into that tonight, just because Kabbalah, we're not, it's a 10-minute class, and I could do a 2-3 hour class on this, on all the, what's permitted, what kind of unions are permitted, what kind of unions are forbidden, what results from all these different kinds of unions. And but just like if you use it in a simple way, that you can see the problem. You can't raise a child to be two different religions, and you can't allow a child to just pick and choose. It doesn't work that way. You got to give the kid values and things like that. So in any way, it's a very, very tough. It's a tough problem for the child. The child feels very, very strange, and there's going to be a leaning both. It's just going to be difficult, and so say like, I'm going to do this. Mrs. Paltroy, Miss Paltroy, she has actually very difficult fourth house. If you look at it, she got a Saturn Moon conjunction in the fourth house, which sort of like symbolizes to me something like the difficulty between the father and the mother, right? The father is Saturn, the moon is the mother, and the Jupiter is disposited, Jupiter being in Capricorn, is going to be disposited by Saturn. So in the end, she's going to be attracted more to the father, to the Jewish religion. And I saw in the internet that she's trying to raise her children as Jewish, which is a very strange thing, because the children are not Jewish, right? If they're in Judaism, the children go after the mother, and her mother, and her mother was a Quaker who wasn't Jewish. She was a dancer and a Quaker or Quaker. I don't really know how to pronounce it. But in any case, she wasn't Jewish, and so the children aren't Jewish. But in any case, she somehow has this attachment to she feels close to the father and to the long line of rabbis in the family. But anyway, she has a very I don't want to get into her chart too much, because really we're just concerning ourselves with the ascendant and the ruling planet. But if you look at her chart, there's well, first of all, take that Jupiter in the 11th house. We're talking about associations and groups. And so she's involved in all sorts of anti-poverty groups and foundations that help poor people. And so you see right away that connection there. And she has a very powerful Jupiter there. It gets an exact square from Pluto and Mars, which is going to give her, she's not the easiest person in the world. When your ruling planet is squared by Pluto and Mars, there's going to be a lot of anger in her. I wouldn't want to get close to her when she gets angry. This girl's got a lot of, tension there underneath. But it's a very wealthy type of chart. Jupiter Pluto is a wealth aspect. Jupiter is money, and Pluto is obsessed with making money, and she pushes very hard to get her money. And she's got 4 planets. She's got it's a dual chart. On one hand, she's a Pisces with Jupiter, the ruling planet. On the other hand, she's got a stellium in Libra. There's very, very social side to her. Very brilliant girl, right, with the Mercury-Uranus conjunction. Gets away. Pluto conjunct the Sun. She's a woman who gets away most of the time. Very tough girl. Saturn conjunct the Moon. She's a very, very tough girl. But in any case, there's going to be that 4 planets in Libra, again in the 8th house, in the social sign of Libra. So she had a pretty wild life. She had a lot of high publicity romances, and it never worked out until she finally got married, and who knows how long that'll last. But in any case, you'll see the pull between the Pisces Jupiter side of her and the 4 planet Pisces Jupiter with the square from Pluto and Mars on one hand, and on the other hand the 4 planets in Libra. And well, let's leave it at that because we already overran our time, and I thank everybody for listening.